a workshop for you. So let's chat about this. We're talking about the concept here of how do you, 3 strategies to maximize your home sales price in this market. And actually, these will work in any market. So the first thing you have to do to maximize the sales price of your property is you absolutely must get your property seen. How do we get our property seen? Well, it's pretty simple. We've shared this pyramid with you in the past. You got to price it so people see it. So here's the impact of pricing. If you price your property at market value, 60% of the market will see your property. Zillow, RSR Home Scout, RSR Home Digest, all of these different tools. You got to price your property properly. So if you're 10% above or below, that's going to diminish or increase the amount of people that see your property. 10% above, about half those people will see your property. If you go 15% above, you're only going to show it to about 10% of the population. 10% below, 75% of the population in that price range will see it. And at 15% below, 90% are going to see it. Okay, good. So now, what are we going to do? How are we going to get people to see it? Strategy number 1 is a non-distressed luxury auction. Non-distressed luxury auction. How does it work? Well, the property is put on preview for 3 weeks, Saturdays only, or Sundays only, maybe Saturday and Sunday, but generally it's limited. We want to make sure it's limited. Why do we limit the amount of time people can see the property on the auction? Because we want to create the excitement. So on a hypothetical, and I use hypothetical numbers sometimes just because the concept is, here's the issue. So we're going to look at it and we're going to say, okay, in Orange County, California, the median home price for Orange County, California, and we get this from Black Knight. So they're one of the biggest sources out there. So we're going to look at it. And we're going to say Orange County, California, median home price is $1,067,000. On the auction scenario, I'm going to use for $1 million all the way through today. So on $1 million, basically we're going to probably, and I don't do this, the auctioneers set it up. They're going to say, okay, let's put this, we're going to put bidding to start at $750,000. $750,000. Now let's go back and look at our pyramid. And at $750,000, that's 25% below. Okay, so 90%, at least 90% of the marketplace is going to see the property. And they're going to say, okay, 123 Main Street, I got to go see this property because why are they selling $1 million property for $750,000? Well, it's an auction. After the property's been made available for a few weeks, limited time, but for a few weekends, well, then they're going to go and they're going to say auction date is going to be on the 4th weekend. Live auction on site. Now, the reason it's a luxury non-distressed, it's also non-contingent. The winner of the auction, if they do not perform, they lose their earnest money deposit. And they're going to have to put in 3% of that $750,000. You say, well, Ron, I don't want to sell my $1 million property for $750,000. Seller has the right in the contract to reject any offer for any price for any reason, right in the contract. Okay, so now we're going to get all these people showing up. They're going to bid this property, bidding it up. That's the idea. They're going to bid it up. And in most instances, they bid it to above market value. Now, the seller is going to provide a home inspection, a natural hazard. They're going to provide everything that's needed for the buyer to make an informed decision. So if there's CC&Rs, they'll be available. The natural hazard, home inspection, photos, you name it, it's all there. That way it's not a court step issue. So the buyers, all the bidders have an opportunity to review all of these different documents, all of these different reports, visit the property, and they know what they're making their bid on. So we like that. We like that idea. That's the first way that you're going to be able to maximize that sale, the price of the property, is going with the auction. Bidding right there. Everybody gets to play. It's not a matter of we're going to only counter who we want to counter. We're going to counter everyone. Well, we're not going to counter anyone because it's going to be done right on site. When the gavel comes down after all the bidding is done, whoever that's left standing, they've got to perform, or else they lose that earnest money deposit, 3% of the $750,000, $22,000. So they're going to have done their homework. They're going to have done their due diligence. They're going to have their either cash available, or they're going to have their financing in place, and they're going to have turned that into the auctioneer. Is there a cost to it? Yes. The auctioneer that I recommend, he charges 2% for a buyer's premium. The buyer pays it. Your listing price will probably be whatever you pay your realtor, probably 5%, 6%, whatever. Right? That's the bottom line. That's how that one works. So option number one is the auction. Let's get back to our conversation of the day. 3 strategies to maximize your home sales price in this market or any market. Payment assistance. Payment assistance. So as a seller, if you chat with your realtor, you can actually say, Mr. Realtor, Miss Realtor, I want to help the buyers qualify for my $1 million home. We've been using this $1 million, which is pretty close to the median for Orange County, California. I want to help the buyers. And how are we going to help them? Well, what the seller's going to do is they're going to go and they're going to say, okay, we're going to subsidize the payment. We're going to take and we're going to contribute X number of dollars. It's got to be within a specific rules and regulations and written up the right way. So if it's not done the right way, we're in trouble. And we're going to say, okay, on that $800,000 loan, $1 million house, $800,000 loan, 20% down, at 6.25%. And I'm not using APR. I'm just educating, not making an offer to loan, any of that stuff. 6.25% principal and interest, that comes out to $49.25 a month as a payment. Again, not making any offers, I'm just educating. Now, what if that seller's contribution could bring the loan, the APR or the interest rate down to 5%? What if we even called it an APR that way? Because we're just educating. The same $800,000 with a 5% APR is $42.94 and 57 cents. The savings is about, I'm going to call it $600. Now, $600 a month in savings helps a family qualify for more property. So many people, if you're a buyer, so many buyers go about this so wrong because they're not getting educated. They're saying, okay, I want to offer $900,000 for the property. Well, does that $900,000 help? First off, are you going to get a 10% discount? Maybe, but probably not. And if you look at the 6.25 interest on $900K at 6.25, if you get the savings for that $100,000 savings, is it going to bring your payment down at all? Well, I don't know. Probably not. It's going to actually make your payment higher. So your $620, your $900,000 is going to be now become doing it off the top of my head, a $720,000 loan, and the $720,000 loan at 6.25 is $44.33. Okay, so you saved a little bit of money off of the $800,000, obviously, because you're 10% less loan. But the bottom line is you're not going to get a 10% savings. What if you had that to get the 5%, you're probably going to need about $30,000, give or take. I'm just throwing them off the top of my head. Usually it's about a third of what the price reduction is compared to the using that same money toward a principal reduction, toward an interest rate reduction. So the bottom line is offer the full price, but ask the seller to use a part of that money to help with the interest rate. Now, I will share with you, I do a lot of these every day. I'm sharing with people custom scenarios. If you want me to put together a custom scenario for you, just let us know. We'll do it. But here's the issue. Here's what you need to understand about the whole process is that if this is not done properly, it will trigger high cost and predatory lending violations. It just will. So I want to make sure you call our team early and discuss the issues, because we don't want you to get that 11th hour. And that's where you find out about these high cost and predatory lending violations. They don't show up early in the transaction. What happens is they show up down the road. They show up way later in the process, because that's when that compliance check is actually done. So we want to make sure that you're really being careful on this, because it can cause a serious problem, and you won't even know you've got the problem until it's too late. Just throwing that out for you. You want to make sure you're talking to somebody that knows what they're doing. The third of the strategies to maximize your home sales price in this or any market. So here's the concept that you need to understand. Realtors sell the majority of the houses. They will, I know that people can go on the market and look and find out what the marketplace is saying about any property. I know that can be done. I know that you can find out what the pictures are of a property and take a look at all of that. I know all that. But here's the issue. At the end of the day, the vast majority, the overwhelming majority of properties are sold by realtors. Think about this concept. And I just had this conversation with somebody on Friday. What was your first job? And the person I spoke to on Friday said their first job was at El Torito, and they made $4.50 an hour. Obviously, it was quite a while ago. And I said, what would happen? And I said, did you work hard? And they said, yeah. And I said, let me ask you. If I went and I told you that Los Cabos will hire you, but you might have to work a little harder than El Torito because they don't have as many people. It's not as big. It's not a big chain. And they'll pay you $6 an hour instead of the $4.50 you're making at El Torito. Would you work a little harder? And he said, of course. Okay. Do you think a realtor is the same way? They get paid a commission based on on their efforts. And they work hard for that. They don't get paid. A lot of people say, well, they make too much money. Okay, well, you're not paying them for the job they're doing today. You're paying them for the experience they have over time. The experience over time. So, yeah, they might have worked for 40 years to be able to know the answer in 1 minute of what you're talking about. But it's a 40-year education it took for them to get there. And you're paying for all that experience. You talk to a doctor or a lawyer, and the lawyer's charging $500 an hour. Now, is it that 1 hour worth $500? No, it's the experience over time that's probably worth that. Otherwise, you wouldn't have hired them. Same thing with the real estate agent. Now, a lot of people say, okay, well, they're going to work for $6,550. No, they're not. They're going to put it on the market, and they're going to just bring you every bid they can saying this is the best we can do, because their job is to grind and just get as many transactions done. Now, what if they say right now you say, okay, well, I got a 1% list for the buyer's agent. Or in this market, we see a lot, 2.5% for the selling agent, 2.5% for the buyer's agent. That's because they don't know how to help you get the most money for your real estate. So let's talk about how to get the most money for your real estate. Pay them more. If I go into the MLS, and I can't because I don't have access to the MLS, but if your realtor goes into the MLS and puts in there that we can actually give you, we're going to do a 4% commission for the buyer's agent. So on that $1 million property that we've been talking about all morning or all afternoon or all evening, whenever you're listening to this, and we put in there buyer's agent commission or co-op, however they word it in the particular MLS that you're at, 4%, $40K potential, right? Because it's all in the negotiations, but potential, that's our listing number. Now, do you think the buyer's agents are going to work harder than if they get 1%, they get paid $10,000 or if they get paid $40,000. Which one do you think they're going to work harder for? Obviously, the 40. Are they hurting anybody? No. They're going to go with suitability, what's suitable for their client. But while this property is available, while your property is available, that's going to be their focus. They're going to look, they might have to be working with 10 clients, but they're going to, out of that 10, they're going to focus on the ones that this property is most suitable for because they make the most money. And they're going to show that. Now you're going to limit it. You're going to say, okay, we're going to have this available for viewing Saturday morning from 9 to 11, or Saturday morning from 11 to 2, or Saturday afternoon from 1 to 4, whatever the number is. We want everybody to be there at the same time. We want people to see the amount of activity there is for the property. And again, we're pricing it properly. We're not pricing it out of the control. And we're going to do 3% for the listing agent, and we're going to do 4% for the buyer's agent. You say, Ron, I can get this done for 5%, or, I can do it for 6%. I'm saying, yeah, you're right, you can, but it's going to cost you money. Or Ron, worse yet, I can go to one of those online services, the iBuyer services, because they're going to do it fast and they're going to do it quick and they're going to be saving me money because they're not going to charge a commission. Yeah, well, here's the issue. They're also not going to pay you fair market value for your property because that's not their business, right? Their business is to buy the property and resell it. They're not moving into it. Their business is to make money. So when they come to make you an offer on that $1 million property, they're going to give you 7 to 30% below the comps. So their offer on that $1 million property is going to be somewhere between $700,000 and $930,000. After commission, yeah, there is no commission, but you're going to lose money because they're going to charge you. Number one, they haven't given you nearly as much money for your property. And they're going to also be looking at it and they're going to say, well, guess what? I don't think that I want to pay you a fee. They're charging you a fee. It's generally 7.5% is their fee that they call it. They don't want to call it a commission. It's a fee. And they leave open the amount that they're going to charge you for a request for repairs. So you're not going to get nearly the amount of money for your property, net after all the expenses. Now, let's go with the traditional agent. They're going to say, okay, 5 or 6%. It might be on the market a little bit longer because they haven't created the hype that I just told you about. They're going to have negotiation-based offers. Negotiation-based offers. Traditional listing might be fast, might be slow, depending upon the market and the agent. And yeah, you can go with a great realtor, but here's the issue. Negotiation-based offers right now are going to be right around 5% below list price, maybe 5% above list price, give or take. So after the commissions, you're going to be looking at 902 to 997.5 is what you're going to be looking at is your net cost. I'm not putting in all the other costs, title, escrow, all those, because they're going to be about the same across the board on all of them, except the iBuyer that'll probably charge you more. But if you assume a 5% commission and you assume that you have some equity in the property, let's take a look, and because I did make a little mistake on here that I want to talk to you about. So let's say that your property's up quite a bit over the last few years, over the time. So let's say that you owed $400,000 on the property. So your equity before the cost is going to be $600,000. That's just taking the property comp value less the amount owed. So on that iBuyer, quick and easy one, you're going to get between $300,000 and $530,000. Going with the traditional broker, you're going to get $502 to $597. Now let's look at my way. We're going to go with the higher commission. Why do I want to go with the higher commission? Because I want you to get the most. So I want you to look at probably generally with the competition, what we find in a market like this is you're going to get somewhere around 10% above the asking price, 10% above the asking price. And let's look at these numbers. So listing using the advanced techniques, we're going to net out 539,300 to 633,230. Why? Because we've developed a way where I told you when in the earlier part of the workshop, the bottom line is how do we get the most people to see your property, right? So if you remember the pyramid, now not only are we using the idea of using market price up maybe 1%. 1%. Why do I use that 1%? Because that covers the extra 1% in commissions. But take a look at the pyramid. If we can get that pyramid, Josh, on the screen, if you still have that handy. So if you look at that, we're going to get a vast majority of the people to come and see the property, because not only are we the people that are doing their own searches, but the realtors are all promoting it. So we're going to create demand. We're going to create that feeding frenzy. That's going to push up the prices. When it pushes up the prices, that pushes up the equity, because all we're doing is taking the commission off of a higher price. So if you get a full price offer up to 10% above, so the full price offer, remember, we did it with 1% higher than what the other brokers are doing. So that's $1,010,000. The 10% above that is $1,111,000. So if you owed that same $400,000 on the property, now you're going to be getting $539,300 to $633,000 after commissions. Again, all three of them you have to take the fees off of. But do you see why you're going to get more money by using a great marketing plan? That's what we promote on Ron Siegel Radio, is a great marketing plan so that you're able to get the most money, the most net money. It doesn't matter what you get as the top line. It matters the bottom line. And think about this. Don't worry about how much you're paying the agent, because you want to get the best possible agents. You want them to focus on your property. So I just showed you, by going with a 7% commission, you make more money. You net more money as the home seller. And if you're a realtor listening to this, boy, don't you think the neighbors want to list with you if they ever think about listing? Just throwing that out there. Don't you think the other neighbors are wanting to take advantage of your services?